For those of you who are not yet familiar with the Warner Archive, it's a really great program that Warner Brothers has developed to allow their releases of kind of cult classic movies that don't have the classic status. These are movies that were not very successful, they weren't particularly popular, they don't have a particularly big second life, as they've most likely never been released on home video, or at least they haven't been released on DVD, and as a result, there just isn't a lot of consumer interest in them. However, these movies do have their die-hard fans, and as a result, what the Warner Archive does is it prints them to order. You can pick from almost 400 movies on the Warner Archive site, and if it's a movie you want, you order it, they print it, send it directly to you in fairly decent, if pedestrian, packaging that makes it at least look like a professionally bought movie, not some DVD-ROM that some guy burned on his computer in his mother's basement. The latest two releases from the Warner Archive that I got to review are a couple of animated features. Yogi's First Christmas, a 1980 feature-length Christmas special, and The Flight of Dragons, a Rankin Bass animated film. Now, those of you familiar with Rankin Bass know what that name entails. You think of things like the movie The Last Unicorn or any number of 80s animated cartoons. But what you usually get with that is kind of a stock feel animation. And what I mean by that is all of the Rankin Bass projects, with the exception of their stop motion animation, it all kind of had the same look, the same feel to it. Even the voice casting was very similar, and they reused a lot of the same talent. The Flight of the Dragons is kind of a magic meets science fiction tale of wizards and dragons trying to compete against a world in which science and technology are rapidly developing and threatening the magical way of life. I guess if you're into that kind of thing, it's perfectly fine, but frankly it's a little cheesy and it's a little heavy-handed, and the music and the voices are so Rankin Bass-orific that I really just couldn't get past it and truly enjoy it. It's not terrible, but man, I think you really have to have kind of a nostalgic feel for this movie. And if you don't, which I didn't because I've never seen it before, then you're really going to be hurting. Luckily, you have to special order it from Warner, so I think the only people who are going to go out there and pick up this movie are people who grew up with it or who remember it fondly from their childhood. The other film, which is going to have more of a widespread appeal, is Yogi's First Christmas. I'm kind of a little surprised this one didn't get a wider release. It is it's a full-length movie. It's about 80 minutes long, and it features all the regular characters, like Yogi and Boo Boo and Snagglepuss and Huckleberry Hound and all those well-loved Hanna-Barbera characters. And it's actually a pretty fun little movie. It's a Christmas story in which Yogi doesn't hibernate for the first time and gets to actually see his first Christmas. And it's a good time. It's nothing that's going to really shake the way you think about animated Christmas features, but it's something the kids will probably enjoy, and I think adults will get a kick out of it because the minute you hear all these great classic Hanna-Barbera voices, it really just takes you back. Warner Archive discs, since they are printed for each person and because they're kind of a low-budget thing, there are no special features on them. The packaging is pretty plain. You get them in blue cases with a little bit of artwork, but there are no special features. There's nothing about these other than the movies themselves. So if you love either of these movies, or if you're a Yogi Bear fan in that case, they're worth picking up. But remember, you do have to go to the WBshop.com to special order them, and they will be custom printed directly for you.